Hello and welcome to the stream. I think we're about to have a game going here. This is the Zul'jin Distillery Invitational League. I've got Lubu versus I Must Feed tonight. We are just in the process of confirming that one of the substitutes is okay to play. We had one player who had a power outage. We're trying to get a rostered sub, an unrostered sub. Not too worried about it. We'll get that up and running for you in just a moment here. They're getting the substitute all hooked up in the right voice channels, and we're going to be going here in just a moment. So, looks like the draft will be here shortly. Caster ready. Boom! So let's talk about the maps here. As I bring up my maps, there they are. I found my maps. Alrighty. I think I've got these backwards now. Anyway, the 4 banned maps are Dragonshire, Towers of Doom, Sky Temple, and Hanamura Temple. And for game number 1, as I update that, the team switched on me. Lubu chose first, and then they switched sides, so I gotta change that to blue. Anyway, Lubu's taken us to Tomb of the Spider Queen, is the long and short of it. So let's get into the draft here and see how our two teams stack up. Loading in here to Tomb of the Spider Queen. On the left, in the blue, is Lubu. On the right, in the red, is I Must Feed. Because they made the lobby. And that's fine with me. Alright, we got first band coming out here for I Must Feed. Tomb of the Spider Queen, heavy wave clear map, and also very small. So we can get some of these, some tanks like Garrosh and Diablo in there if you don't find your Stitches, you don't find your Johanna Wave Clearer, you've got that covered in other departments. You can find these sort of close quarters brawler tanks doing well here on Tomb. And we're going to see Garrosh banned away. I think Garrosh is really strong right now. I was testing him out today. His new level 16 talent that gives him 2 charges of the W and 5% extra health. Feels so good. Feels so good in the late game. Garrosh used to feel so bad. And we see Johanna is banned away by Lubu, still the premier wave clear tank. Stitch has got that buff, but it's still Johanna at the top. Don't get it twisted. 5 extra seconds on Iron Skin is not going to keep Johanna down. Gonna be banned away. Kael'thas banned away by I Must Feed, and then the Cassia banned away by Lubu. Nothing really special here. Kael'thas, very high on wave clear. Cassia, nah, her wave clear's fine. PvE's fine, but she's just a total damage fountain right now. So gotta get her off the board. Night is gonna snag Deckard for that first pick. Now, with Rhaegar not banned, I'm actually expecting that to be picked up here by Lubu, because when we're talking about wave clear supports, wave clear healers, Rhaegar definitely still at the top there, though Deckard can do it. He's got some big, wide AoE type spells, can help clear those waves, lock people down in these small lanes. Lubu's going to choose to prioritize the Tassadar and the May. Tassadar, still very strong even after the nerfs. Very good on the wave clear. Looks like John Goodman and Duck Rogers for I Must Feed are going to grab the Jaina and the Diablo. So setting up for a very powerful combo there. With the Diablo stun lockdown, followed by the Deckard and all that Jaina damage. They're going to be getting a lot of damage out very early in the game here. Lubu has the Tassadar and the May. They're going to be banning away the Maiev. There's been some rumbling, there's been some talk that Maiev is very strong right now. So not wanting to see it, especially on such a small map as Tomb, Maiev can really move between those lanes with ease using that, gosh, her roaming shadow. I don't remember what it's called on her kit. But her teleport can pretty much go between any of the lanes here on Tomb. ETC is going to be banned away by I Must Feed. Interesting choice to ban away the ETC with May already picked up, but it could be that Lubu has a penchant for double tanking, which is not completely out of the ordinary, to be honest. It's something that I have seen a few times, especially over in the NGS. So not wanting a premier tank like ETC to go on through. Lubu is going to grab that Rhaegar, snag that extra PvE, that extra wave clear, and Bandit will be on the Rainer. As I remember to update my heroes like I'm supposed to be doing. There we go. Banditos on the Rainer. Tassadar. Alright. Sudden Bears is going to grab Zool, and if you're talking wave clear, you're definitely talking Zool. And Listerfiend is going to grab the Executioner, that Vala. Vala's burst, still very much a threat. She's kind of, she's a pretty old hero. She's been around since the beginning. Not a whole lot has changed on Vala's kit over the years, but she can still do what she does best, and that's execute one hero with impunity. Let's see what Spoticus wants to pick up for that off-lane pick. It is going to be Blaze in the off-lane. Blaze did get some changes to level 1, though that means if you take the new level 1, that means you don't get new habits. You don't get that unstoppable. So I'm interested to see whether your Spoticus goes with the old steady or with a new, perhaps a neural stim pack? Perhaps, maybe. Perchance we will see it. Alright, we're getting into game number 1 here. Lubu versus I Must Feed. We're getting loaded up right now. Alright, you're gonna look at me for a minute because I don't have my normal NGS stinger. Oh, that's okay. Loaded in here to Tomb of the Spider Queen. I think we've got some pretty powerful comps on both sides. The wave clear is premium for both of our teams, so we could be in for a long one. Be interested to see who comes out ahead here. Let's see how fast our loading screens are. It's a race. Blue versus red. Who will come out ahead? Who's got the potato computer? You'll never know. I'm interested to cast a May game. I'm not sure I've actually done it yet. I may have cast 1 or 2. Come to think of it, though, I don't think I have. I think the last couple XGDI games I've seen May banned or gone unpicked. So this may be the first one that I see coming out of Lubu here. But our lobby is basically done loading. Oh, there it is. Here we go. Alright, we're into game number 1 here, as I remember how my mouse works. Boom! On the left in the blue is Lubu with Streakwing playing the Rhaegar. Suikoden will be on Tassadar. Spoticus playing the Blaze. Alan Hicks is going to be on May, and Bandit is going to be on the Raynor. On the right in the red is I Must Feed with Listerfiend playing the Vala. John Goodman will be on Jaina. Duck Rogers will be on Diablo, Night Knight on Deckard, and Sudden Bears on the Zool. Let's get into it here. Show me Blaze. It's actually going to be Adrenaline Stim Pack. Oh, going for that attack speed and movement speed. On the Blaze here. Definitely going to up that wave clear factor that is so important here on Tomb of the Spider Queen. Both teams going to battle here in the middle. Likely see Blaze and Zool split off to the bottom lane as the wave clear fest starts. Both teams going to clash here in the middle. No gank attempts as of now. Blaze looking for a possible slow. Alan Hicks actually getting flipped over there by Duck Rogers, but caught by the Tassadar wall and the Blaze stun. Duck Rogers goes down. First blood. Sudden Bears and Spoticus will retreat to the bottom lane as our two teams now begin their rotation. Alan Hicks going right in looking for Jaina. Will not find it. Using the trait to avoid that root coming out from Night Knight. Now, one thing that Lubu has a little bit more of over I Must Feed here is long-range poke. That Raynor and that Tassadar have very strong, very long-range poke. Vala's got to get a little bit closer. Jaina's got to get a little bit closer to deal that heavy poke damage. But it looks like Zool is actually going to pick up on the wave clear a little bit as I Must Feed tries to catch up. Blaze looking to interrupt Zool on the rotation back down, but using that Bone Prison and the Bone Armor, Zool will get back in lane there. Tassadar alone in the top here could be in a little bit of trouble. Here comes the rest of I Must Feed. Suikoden going the wrong way. Oh no, gets caught by the Deckard root, and there goes Tassadar. Tried for a shifty little juke, but heads to a shifty little grave. Too bad. Tassadar will be back on the field shortly. If we take a look at the experience here, basically even. Minion experience slightly ahead on the side of I Must Feed, but hardly anything to write home about, as both teams are going to hit level 4 here shortly. Taking a look at the early damage, already over 3,000 hero damage by John Goodman on that Jaina. Jaina's looking for 15,000 chill damage before being able to unlock that very important ice block for Jaina. Alan Hicks going right in. They do catch Diablo once again in that Tassadar wall. But the root from Deckard is there, and oh, May's gonna get counter-killed there by Lister Fiend. Some very nice focus counter damage by I Must Feed, picks away the enemy tank. Zool trying to load off those 15 gems, will do so successfully. Lister Fiend, ooh, manages to scoot away from that static wall. Now trying to turn in. Duck Rogers will use the Flame Stomp to interrupt. Neither team has quite enough for a turn-in yet, but only a couple more waves here will be needed for both teams before their 50 is online. Now, one thing that is a potential strategy here... Oh gosh, May is actually running out of cooldowns here. Got the skating interrupted, but still manages to get away. It can be a bit of a detriment to turn in as quickly as possible here on Tomb of the Spider Queen because the first turn-in is just so weak. So dumping in your first 50 gems as soon as possible may not actually be the play here. You may want to wait a little bit closer to level 10 before you really get that first turn-in. We've also seen some teams employ a strategy where they get enough gems for 2 turn-ins and then try to do a double back-to-back. Of course, if you're doing that, that means that you're holding gems for a lot longer and putting yourself up for a possible gank and lose all those gems. So it is always a balancing act for the teams here as they try to execute these strategies. Streakwing is actually picked up here by Diablo. That's 17 gems on the Rhaegar. Manages to just barely get away from the tip of that Decker group, and Streakwing manages to survive for now. Blaze actually holding 23 gems on the bottom here, has not found the opportunity to turn in, but may have the opportunity now unless Sudden Bears can sniff it out. But note, they've got to deal with that siege camp, so Blaze will drop those gems. Meanwhile, it's Lister Fiend and Duck Rogers that are holding the most here for I Must Feed. Diablo going for a quick sneak turn-in, but Lubu is doing a really good job of keeping vision on this top turn-in and not allowing I Must Feed to turn in for free. They're going to have to really work on getting a kill advantage, and it looks like they make it just that as Suikoden gets hit by one wave of that blizzard, but the Cone of Cold does not quite connect, and Suikoden will get out of there. Meanwhile, Lubu did sneak a turn-in in the bottom lane, and will be getting that first Web Weaver phase of the game. We'll see how much they can get out of this. There's a whole ton of wave clear on both of our teams here, which means the defenses should be fairly simple. Alan Hicks actually getting caught out, getting hit by that Deckard root, and May is gonna go down once again. Very nice gank there by I Must Feed. But Raynor is getting a lot of value here in the top, pushing solo, while the rest of I Must Feed is clearing up this mid Web Weaver. Zool trying to push away Blaze here in the bottom lane. Bandit actually being moved onto by Duck Rogers. They get the flip, and it looks like they're going to grab this kill. Raynor going down in the top, but not before taking out that entire front wall. That may honestly be worth it for Lubu to commit to that wall. Bottom wall also taken out. Zool having a little bit of trouble versus Blaze on the defense there. So a fairly good first turn-in as far as first turn-ins go for Lubu. Now the dance continues. It looks like Blaze is headed back to work on that bruiser camp. John Goodman trying to turn in. Duck Rogers is the one who now needs to turn in for I Must Feed and will get interrupted there by Alan Hicks. Suikoden's doing a good job of maintaining pressure in the bottom lane while Zool heads back to do the camp, but 10s are online here for I Must Feed. It looks like Lister Fiend will manage to find time to turn in, and the red Web Weavers are on the way for I Must Feed. Taking a look at the heroics, we do see the Ring of Frost coming out for Jaina, so a big combo to go with that Stay a While and Listen and the APOC from Diablo, so it really just a wombo combo comp coming out from I Must Feed, along with the Skeletal Mages and Reign of Vengeance. They want to kill everybody in a team fight, not just the one of them. There's the Stay a While, but the cleanse is there. APOC still catches 2. The Ring of Frost is out, but May is the one being targeted. Zool will be counter-killed here. Alan Hicks sends out the Avalanche, driving away the enemy tank. May is out of buttons, will have to back out of there. Night Knight is trying to escape inside that Hyperion. Still manages to get away, and just the one kill after a lot of ults used. Every single ult used for both of our teams here. Great defensives from both sides. Bottom wall will be taken out by this objective. Looks like top wall will be next. Sukanen actually getting bursted there. Duck Rogers heading straight through the wall and getting that kill. Bandit chasing out John Goodman, almost getting it. Oh no, we've got a pause here coming in from John Goodman. Oh, it looks like we have a potential problem. I'm going to head back to the me screen. I believe we do possibly have a band ult that was chosen. I'm not sure what we do in this spot. I may have to look this up. Ultimately, it is up to our teams to figure that out. They can figure it out after we've got the rules as written. DeWitt can handle all that stuff. Our teams will sort it out. And for now, we unfortunately just have to wait. Alright, looks like our teams are settling on. We can continue, just don't press R anymore, which is, you know, I guess it's something. We're just here to play, not a huge deal. Alright, looks like we're going to get started here in just a moment. Alright, the teams have decided they're going to keep going. May is just not going to cast the big snowball anymore. The problem with May's Avalanche right now is you can somewhat reliably send people off the map with it, which is a definite problem. It creates a big advantage for the team that uses it, because then it goes up against out-of-bounds rules. There's no ban on out-of-bounds, but the deal with out-of-bounds in a lot of these organized tournaments is if you get out-of-bounds, you're supposed to immediately hearth or immediately try to come back inbounds, which... if you're the team that can deliberately put people out of bounds, that puts you at a pretty big advantage. Looks like we are continuing here. Let's get back into the game as John Goodman was chased away by Bandit. The Web Weavers have fallen. And we're going to continue here with this matchup between Lubu and I Must Feed. Alrighty. It's been quite the exciting match so far. We got some figuring out the subs, and we're figuring out the ults. It's okay. We're still week 2. We're figuring things out. No biggie at all. Listerfiend actually has another 32 gems, managing to get that turn in before Tastar can get the interrupt, so the Red Wave Weavers are coming. Sukanen will be taken out by Jaina. Very nice blizzard there by May, catches 3, and will allow the rest of Lubu to escape. But not before Tassadar falls, and paired with this Web Weaver phase, this could be a big push coming in here for I Must Feed. There's that Adrenaline Stim Pack from Blaze coming into play, really helping out with that wave clear. Zool trying to push this bottom Web Weaver versus the bottom Siege Camp once again. I Must Feed is going to push in the top. Meanwhile, the mid Web Weaver is cleared out by Lubu, and we've got a rotation here. Duck Rogers trying to watch this rotation, trying to catch him. Spoticus gets interrupted in the back before the hit can land. There's the stay a while, and there's the Apocalypse after the Bloodlust doesn't order out, and that actually completely nullifies the Bloodlust now that it does have that shortened cooldown. Once again, a lot of ults being burned from both of our teams here. Still a couple. We got the Bunker and the Hyperion on the side of Lubu, but only the Skeletal Mage is on the side of I Must Feed, means that Duck Rogers could be in a little bit of trouble here. Does manage to squeak on out of there. Zool in the bottom lane, claiming that bottom tower with that just ungodly wave clear. Lubu getting the bottom pushed out. Blaze left to with their own devices down in the bottom lane. Does manage to clear that Web Weaver. Both teams here on level 13. John Goodman and crew is coming around. Oh, a raw Ring of Frost goes out, catches no one, but forces Bandit to the right, and they will find the kill onto Raynor. Sudden Bears trying to get on top of the May, but using that unstoppable trait gets them out of that bone prison. They do find the kill onto Raynor, so they do have possibly the opportunity to push down some structures, though they will have to be careful here. Blaze is getting the turn in the bottom lane uncontested. Sudden Bear's not quite there in time, and the blue Web Weavers are going to come down. Raynor will be back up to push with these, so we do have a 5v5. John Goodman taking some big chunks from Suikoden on that Tassadar. That's going to be the main concern for Deckard in getting those potions out for our low health Jaina. Here comes Raynor to join the push here in the mid lane. Blaze is trying to get the bottom Web Weaver pushed into that bottom fort. So we have a 4v5 for the meantime. Duck Rogers trying to set up here, but Alan Hicks discovers Diablo in the brush. Spartacus going back onto John Goodman once again, but getting stopped by Listerfiend, so Jaina will manage to make it out of there. There's the big sleep onto 3, again timing that out with the Bloodlust, completely stopping the Bloodlust combo from Lubu, but it will be Deckard and Jaina going down. The counter kill onto Rhaegar. Sudden Bears could be next here. Blaze is going down. There goes Zool. May down as well. It's a bloodbath, 3 for 3 here. Archon expires for Suikoden. It looks like the 2 remaining members from both squads will manage to get on out of there. But the mid fort is down, the bottom fort is down, so this team fight really doing wonders for Lubu in getting this map position. Top fort going to go down as well. Wow, that one was crazy. And still with most of the gems here, looks like neither team really lost a lot on the gem count. Both of them have pretty much enough for their next turn in here. Once again, we see Jaina leading the way on hero damage for I Must Feed. Tassadar doing the same for Lubu. Experience-wise, both teams are here at level 16. Let's see how they want to control this mid lane. The mid lane, very important here for controlling vision on both of our turn-ins. Duck Rogers sees 4 on this bottom turn-in. Will they be able to stop the turn-in of these 31 gems on Raynor? It doesn't look like Duck Rogers will be able to poke in there. Great job by Alan Hicks to force that Diablo away. 31 gems turned in on one of the most gankable heroes is a big deal here for Lubu. Once again, Listerfiend holding a ton of gems. Val is really not the safest carrier of gems, but if you're out there getting them and you're surviving, that's good enough for me. 2 camps will be clashing here in the mid lane. Alan Hicks, actually, the Bone Prison goes out. The Stay a While, oh, I think the Stay a While got interrupted. It did go on a 10-second cooldown there. Deckard will have it shortly. And the fight continues here, as it looks like they just need the one more gem turn in. There's May, turning in that 1 gem. Good job, May. Another blue Webweaver wave will be pushing in, and these waves already kind of encroaching onto the side of I Must Feed means that all 3 of these Webweavers will pretty much be up on the keep walls. This will be a tough defense here for I Must Feed. If they want to fight, they're going to have to try to get one fast. Otherwise, they may need to split and defend. Do their best to not lose 2 keeps with this big push. Right now, all 5 from both teams stacking in the top lane. Duck Rogers trying to dismount. Tassadar with those big pokes being able to go in. The Hyperion is out, which means this wall is almost certainly forfeit. Duck Rogers caught on the wrong side of the Tassadar wall, and there goes Diablo. Listerfiend going straight up onto Bandit, but Bandit manages to scoot away. There's the Bloodlust now coming in after the big combo. This could spell trouble for I Must Feed. John Goodman's going to have to be careful and get on out of there. There's the APOC coming out, trying to delay the members of Lubu. It looks like the Bloodlust has expired, and Lubu may have to back off here as the Weaver has gone down. But just like that, 2 keeps are going to go down here. Lubu did a great job of keeping I Must Feed in that top lane, while the pushed out lanes mid and bot managed to get the keeps with ease. Now Lubu, with that space created on the map, will get this boss pretty much for free. There's not a whole lot that I Must Feed can do from this position to contest the boss, so they're just going to have to stick to the top lane and defend it. And there it is. Now, fortunately for I Must Feed, Lubu will not be able to layer another Web Weaver push on top of this. They're going to get the Web Weavers of their own pushing in the lanes, but Lubu is going straight onto this top keep. I Must Feed is not going to be here to defend in time, and they're going to lose their final structure here. This could be a push to the finish, actually. We've got a boss coming through. I know the Web Weaver is coming out, but this boss is still at full health. Could be a 5v5 core versus boss push here. Will Lubu commit to it? They're clearing out this Web Weaver, and at the same time, the boss is being cleared out. Spartacus looking for John Goodman there, but not landing the jet propulsion. Hyperion is committed. It looks like they may be going for this keep, for this core. The shielding already down. The Ring of Frost does connect, but Bloodlust damage is coming out. The bunker is doing a ton of work here. APOC in response, 20% on the core. Can they find enough damage? There it is. IMF almost had the defense. They had a lot of members very low here, but ultimately too much damage, and Lubu strikes first. GG. Alright, post-game stats, 7 kills to 10. Lubu, even with the fewer kills, still coming out ahead, playing that map very, very well. Controlling those lanes with that extra wave clear is really what makes the objective work. Getting that turn in when your lanes aren't figured out doesn't do a whole lot, but if you got everything under control, if you got your wave clear on lock, we saw Lubu take advantage of that quite a bit. Blaze bringing up the soak there with almost 15,000 experience alone, 116,000 on the siege damage, showing the value of that adrenaline stim pack that was buffed. Especially now with that passive, while over 80% health, gain 25% attack speed and movement speed. When you're in the off lane, pushing solo, you're going to be above 80% health quite a bit. So Blaze doing a ton of work with that. Tassadar very much leading the way at 60,000 hero damage, getting a whole lot done with those extended Qs. Jaina, Vala, Zool, all dealing a whole lot of damage, getting those kills, but ultimately getting them early, and it was the late game push that pushed Lubu ahead. Very nice game number 1. All right, game number 1 is in the books. Lubu is up 1-0. We'll see what brings us... Oh my god, I lost my words. We'll see what happens in game number 2 right after the break. We're going to get our lobbies sorted out, and I'll get back to you soon. For now, don't go far. Looks like there may be a possible problem with the score. We're going to figure that out. Just a moment here. We may have the issue with the May Avalanche may have to flip the win there, since they're not supposed to really... How it's supposed to go is you pick a band talent, you lose the game. That's the rule. So we'll get that figured out. If I need to flip the score, I'll do it. Okay, I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna do that. I'm pretty sure that's where we're at. Okay. We'll sort it out later. I think what they're gonna do is, according to the rules, because a band talent was used, that game defaults to IMF. So I'm gonna put that up on the board. And we're going to go with that for now. And if that's not the way this ends up working out, we'll sort it out later. Right now, we're just going to play some games. But I'll take you over to the map screen. Spartacus, you like the moving background? Oh, thank you very much. All right, just to remind you of the map situation. Dragonshire, Towers of Doom, Sky Temple, and Hanamura Temple will not be played tonight. Tomb of the Spider Queen did go over to IMF due to a talent technicality. Game 2, we're going to be going to Volskaya Foundry. They decided to just go ahead with this lobby, not do a re-choose and all that good stuff. So we're going to get into game number 2. Let's get into the draft. Now, one thing to point out is Corix will be replacing Duck Rogers as the tank for I Must Feed. That was their intended sub, but we ended up choosing another one just to get game 1 going. But Corix is in the mix now. Johanna is going to be banned away by I Must Feed to start. So Johanna and now Cassia banned away. Neither one of them I'm guessing neither one of them's going to see this series, based on how these bans have been going. Still very strong in the meta, both of these heroes. Once again, Kael'thas being banned away. Kael'thas, not one that I see an awful lot on Volskaya Foundry as a power pick. I definitely see Kael'thas a lot on Infernal Shrines due to the value you get from living bombs on top of the minions in the pit, or even on top of heroes and then damaging the minions. You can get a lot of work done there with spreading. But there's no minions on the Volskaya pads, so they must just not want to play against that Kael'thas. And Lubu gonna have a little bit of respect ban for the Deckard. This is also a very prominent Deckard map, especially the pads. A lot of space for Deckard to work, and also because of how predictable the teamfight areas are going to be, Deckard setting up there can really get a lot done. And Knight is going to grab the Rhaegar first, since the Deckard was taken away. Alan Hicks is going to be on the Mei, and will almost certainly be picking the Ice Wall this time. And Bandit is going to grab Li Ming. Li Ming, good here on Volskaya Foundry for the exact opposite reason that Kael'thas is good on Infernal Shrines. There's nothing on the pads, so there's nothing to hinder Li Ming's orbs and magic missiles from flying in and dealing as much damage as they want. Lister Fiend is going to respond with Orphea, and Corix will be on the Tyrael here for I Must Feed. Tyrael. Now, Tyrael got some buffs, I believe 2 patches ago now. Maiev going to be banned out once again by Lubu, not wanting to see the Warden. Where's Illidan? I don't know where Illidan is. Illidan might run rampant now that Maiev's been banned. Tyrael's been getting a lot of extra play since they buffed his auto attack build. He can really do a lot of extra work in the backline and get out scot-free. And not to mention the trait update, where if he explodes on people, he comes back quicker. Could we have had that 4 years ago? I think so, but at least we got it now. We've got a busted ban here on the side of I Must Feed. Hope that's not a DC. I'm only a spectator for this one, so I don't get to see the chat. Hopefully everything's okay. Let me just double check that there's nothing going on in Discord here. I think everything's good. Hopefully we don't have to redo this lobby. I better write down what these heroes were in case this gets busted. We good? Okay. We're gonna see a double healer coming out from Lubu. Suikoden will be on the Brightwing and Streakwing. Not on the Brightwing. No wings here. It's only Karazim. Ha. Hey, get off my desk, you goober. John Goodman is gonna grab Kira. It's been a very long time since I've cast a Kira match, and Malthael will be played by Sudden Bears. That's pretty cool. Kira into double support. Kira is a very good brawler and is very, very good self-sustained, so with the alleged lower damage of a double support comp like the one coming out from Lubu, Kira could do a lot of work. And Spoticus will snap away that Zool pick. Do I have everything sorted out? I do. Man. Well, these comps are a little bit more unorthodox, but we still have the Bloodlust with an auto-attacker like Kira. Definitely going to do a lot of work for Malthael. We've got Li Ming and Zool. Power picks here on Volskaya for sure. And a double support. Very cool. Let's see how it goes. Game number 2. It's Lubu versus I Must Feed. Alright, we're loading in here to game number 2, where I'm 90% sure I Must Feed has the point for game number 1. Again, if we have to sort that out later, no biggie. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's no problem. I'm interested. It's been a long time since I've seen a good double healer comp come out. And we've got it versus a Tyrael main tank and a Kira. So, very offbeat. But let's get into it. The lobby is done. Here we go. On the left, in the blue, once again, is Lubu. With Spoticus playing the Zool. Bandit is on Li Ming. Streakwing on Karazim. Suikoden on the Brightwing. And Alan Hicks will be playing the Mei for the second time. On the right, in the red, we have I Must Feed with Lister Fiend playing that Orphea. Knight on the Rhaegar. John Goodman will be playing Kira. Sudden Bears on the Malthael. And Corix on the Tyrael. That's not favoritism, I just totally thought of that zoom in thing now. I'm gonna do it for both teams. Let me zoom in on these guys. See, they're cool too. I totally just thought of it on the second round. They're cool, I promise. No favoritism, I swear. I'm gonna do that from now on because I like it. I think it's really cool. Alrighty. Our team's meeting in the middle lane. Pretty similar to Tomb of the Spider Queen. They kind of just want to clear it and get on out of there. Li Ming trying to poke in with those orbs. John Goodman going straight onto the back line, trying to harass Bandit there. Alan Hicks going back with the skating. We actually have a big stun there, a big root coming out from Deckard. John Goodman's going to have to be careful getting hit with the sight from Zool, but managing to stay alive, and it looks like Zool and Malthael will retreat to the bottom lane while our teams once again go into the 4-player rotation. Alan Hicks not quite getting the angle there onto Tyrael, so no stun to be had. Kira gonna have to walk out nice and slow there thanks to all that Mei freezing. Meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Spoticus taking a little bit of extra damage from the Malthael. That's going to be a tough matchup for the Zool, as Malthael can really heal off those waves and deal a ton of damage, especially with how wide this lane is. I Must Feed going to be working on the turret here. Lubu thinking about it themselves. There they go. They're going to work on it as well. Could see a possible invade here from I Must Feed if they move over real quick. It looks like no, they're not thinking about it. Well, they might be thinking about it. Here comes Korix. Are they going to get here in time? They do not manage to get the pad, but here comes the invade. Streakwing getting blown up right away. There goes Karazim. Bandit did manage to make off with that turret. Like a bandit. Oh, the puns are here. So the turret is there, but they sacrifice Karazim for that cap. And with Karazim down, it looks like I Must Feed is going to go onto this heal camp and try to pick that up before Lubu can respond, and there it is. That means they will have the item advantage for this first objective. Experience very, very even for our two squads. John Goodman's going to have to be careful there. We got 4 members of Lubu staring him down in the top lane, but we'll manage to get on out of there. Malthael and Zool, both prolific double soakers, though Zool is quite a bit faster. So it'll be interesting to see how that matchup unfolds. Listerfiend and Night Knight over here. Suikoden actually coming on in. Did Suikoden take a wrong turn at Albuquerque? It looks like Suikoden's going to get right on out of there using that Z to escape. I'm not sure what Brightwing was up to there. Just kind of going and chilling, going and hanging out. Was that Bribewing chances? Oh, we had an attempted Pixie Charm steal, but the macro on point for I Must Feed means that they will not get their camp stolen away. Cheeky little move by oh gosh, Suikoden. Suikoden going for the cheeky moves. Still manages to get out of there. Kira on the chase though. Will Listerfiend catch up? Ooh, not quite, not quite. And they're fighting over this objective now. 12% going over to I Must Feed. They're going to be stacking that up here and also looking for level 7. There it is. They're getting some progress there. Zool pushing that bottom lane, looking for level 7 for Lubu. It will be here in just a moment, as Lubu also has to clear this top camp before they jump onto the objective, but already over 40%. Means that this fight is going to have to happen sooner rather than later for Lubu. Here they come. Alan Hicks is on the point on that Mei, and the brawl is on. Zool's still trying to clear in the bottom lane, trying to make up that XP disadvantage. But here comes Spoticus, and the 5v5 is starting. Korix going straight onto the enemy team. Alan Hicks drops the Blizzard, catches 2. John Goodman is right in the back trying to get on top of Bandit. Malthael will be the first to fall here. Brightwing gets the Z, and Listerfiend getting huge hits with those abilities. But with that double healer comp, Lubu is staying very healthy. And they're going to turn this pad over to the blue side. Suikoden finally using those Bribewing stacks. Stealing that camp away. Very nicely done by Suikoden. D Hots, welcome in the chat. Thank you very much. Hope you're enjoying your evening. Spoticus and John Goodman battling it out in the top lane for that experience. I Must Feed does have a little bit of time to get back on this pad. Only 40% here for Lubu. They're going to clear out this bottom lane, try to clear out the top, and then get back onto this pad. John Goodman's going to have to be careful here. We got 2 turrets on the side of Lubu. Will they commit? Alan Hicks on the point here. Suikoden getting a little bit caught in the geometry. Here's 1 turret down. John Goodman has committed, and the fight is on. Streakwind taking a lot of damage here, trying to Z on out. Malthael will go down first once again, but Brightwing goes down in response. Kira down as well. There goes Tyrael. Tyrael trying to explode on as many people as possible, catching Spoticus and Bandit. And it looks like I Must Feed will have to scoot on out of there. And the first objective of the game goes over to the double healer comp. It is Lubu. And they're actually level 10s are very close here. They're going to grab that right about now. They're going to choose, with that extra space they created with those hero kills, to mop up that front wall before heading to the top lane. Level 10s are here. We do have the Ice Wall coming out for Mei, as well as Emerald Wind for Brightwing, Poison Nova on the Zool, Wave of Force on Li Ming, and Wave 7 Fists, 7-sided Strike for our Karazim player. One thing to note on Karazim, Karazim did go Transcendence on 1, so no Iron Fist damage, just extra healing. They're looking to out-sustain their opponents to the best of their ability. Now, Lubu's in a bit of an interesting spot. They've already got what they're supposed to get with this first objective. That's the top wall and the top well, and they've still got half health on this Protector, so they're just going to head over to the mid lane, try to do a little something work there. They get this mid fort to about half health. And it is about to expire here. There it goes. Sudden Bear's jumping on top of Bandit here, but will have to retreat as Mei is ready with the Blizzard. Looking at the heroics on the side of I Must Feed. Actually, we may have to hold off on that for a little bit. The Unrelenting Strikes rather than the Final Strike from Kira is an interesting choice. That's the big swirly stun. There is the Bloodlust coming out, but 3 are stunned by the Mei. Poison Nova is out. There is the Sanctification from Tyrael. Alan Hicks could be in trouble here. Manages to skate away. Oh, does survive, but Zool will be going down here for Lubu. Very low health here on the side of I Must Feed. They're going to have to be careful, as it's still very healthy of the remaining 4 members of Lubu. We did get a 1-for-0, but IMF had to retreat. They were all very, very weak, so they will not be able to contest this heal camp. It was Last Rites picked up for Malthael. We saw the Sanctification from Tyrael, the Crushing Jaws, of course, from Orphea, and Bloodlust from Rhaegar. IMF is going to have to keep a close eye on this siege camp. We saw Brightwing already try to steal it once, so they're going to stay on top of it and make sure it is taken on time. Rhaegar picking up that turret camp in the bottom lane. Sudden Bears, no stacks on that Last Rites so far. It's going to be a little bit tough to get the Zool because of that bone armor, but a possible 1v1 situation would favor Malthael in the long run. And we do have a fight here over the top heal camp. Crushing Jaws is out from Orphea, catching 2. There is the Kira ult, also catching 2. John Goodman is there in the back, regenerating like a madman. Ice Wall catches Orphea. Korix and John Goodman very low health. Orphea is going to go down here. They're going to have to retreat. Sudden Bear's trying to warp around, but ultimately is caught by that bone prison. And that's 2 kills for Lubu, and they're going to push down this mid fort. Korix and John Goodman trying to retreat here. Korix actually caught by the Blizzard. He is stunned as well. Korix could be in a lot of trouble here, but uses the Smite speed to get on out of there and will finally back. Mid fort taken out. It looks like Lubu wants to clear up this camp before moving to the bottom lane. Zool's got quite the minion wave here, and also the time to push down this wall alone. We'll see if IMF wants to respond to this top push, or whether they need to respond to the Zool. It looks like they are going to try to rotate on this Zool. Spoticus sees them coming, and it looks like Spoticus will manage to get on out of there, getting that mount, and getting back to that intact wall. Hello to my favorite mod, Restamac, saying hi to his favorite caster. How you doing today? Lubu, seeing the gank attempt onto Zool, tries to push this top fort. Still being a little bit careful here. Sudden Bears looking for a possible flank is discovered there by Lubu, but that extra speed from on a pale horse gets Sudden Bear on out of there. Sudden Bears, I should say. John Goodman taking a little bit of damage from that big bomb in Orphea. Or that Big Bomb and Li Ming, I should say. Looking at those orb talents. We do see the glass cannon actually coming out from Li Ming, wanting to get as much burst as possible. And the fight is on at the top. Lubu actually has a 2-level lead coming into this fight. No talent tier advantage, but that extra scaling is going to do them a lot of good, especially with that double healer combination. John Goodman goes invulnerable. There's the last rites on the Suikoden. Doesn't quite get the kill. Orphea will be killed for the trouble. Spartacus in a little bit of trouble here. Sudden Bear's trying to regen in the back, but Malthael will fall. Night Knight is next. There goes Kira, and that is a full team wipe. 5 players going down. Lubu gonna take over this point. Very, very nicely done. That extra scaling on the health, keeping everyone healthy with this double healer comp. Suikoden once again stealing the camp with the bribe wing. And this is looking all but academic here for Lubu. They're gonna pick up this top objective. This top fort is in rough shape. Bandit is gonna poke it down with that mirror ball. Zool pushing the bottom lane with those skellies. But here comes I Must Feed. They've all rezzed. There's only 50% on this objective. It's possible that I Must Feed could continue to contest this, though they are currently 3 levels down. This could be a tough fight to take. Korix is going to move on to the point here, find Alan Hicks, but the rest of Lubu is not far behind. Zool is showing in the bottom lane, so we do have a possible fight advantage for I Must Feed. Zool's going to take that bottom fort. Lubu will concede the objective for now. Will there be enough time for Zool to get here? Already over 70%. Alan Hicks is going to have to step onto this point, or else they're going to lose this objective. Korix looking for the possible holy ground, but getting caught by the dive of Lubu. There's the ice wall to cut off the retreat. Korix squeezes on by, but Rhaegar will be the first to fall in this fight. Very low are all the members of IMF. John Goodman with a huge stun manages to get away with the trait. Can John Goodman get enough self-healing? Oh, there's the seg from Korix. Does manage to save the Kira. Amazing that only one player went down on that engage. Unfortunately, a win like that not going to produce a whole lot for them, as the Protector is taken by Lubu. Are they going to head through the top lane, or are they going to head down to the bottom? It looks like they're going to focus on this top keep. Zool and Karazim inside the Protector as the siege is on. John Goodman and Listerfiend looking for a possible flank here. Waiting on this back vision. But the push, it could be too strong. I don't know if they have enough time here. Here comes Sudden Bears. They're looking for a flank here. They want Bandit and Suikoden. Here they come. The Protector is forced to back up. John Goodman bypasses the Emerald Wind. And there's the Bloodlust. John Goodman once again looking for the stun. They do find that Li Ming. Ice Wall doesn't find the connection. Brightwing is going to go down here, and it looks like May will manage to retreat. This Protector does get the top keep. But I don't know if they've got enough walking power to get away from this. Here comes Alan Hicks, laying out the Blizzard, trying to get the retreat in for our 2 remaining members of Lubu. This Protector is about to go down, as marching as fast as his giant kaiju stomping legs can take it. It's getting close to the wall here. Streakwing manages to get on out. Spartacus could be in trouble here. The Holy Ground is out, doesn't quite cover the gate. 7-sided strike to counter the Kira engage. Spartacus, does go down to Night Knight's lunge. A great chase there from IMF, making up some of that experience disadvantage. Now only 2 levels behind here. IMF with 3 members down is going to try to push down this mid fort. The wall goes down. Now they're only 2 levels back. The Blizzard out to clear these minions means Korix and Listerfiend will have to back on out of there. Zool is still down for another 28 seconds. Will IMF push onto this camp? Looks like they may have the opportunity to do it, but it's just a 4v4 here. Will Malthael catch up? No, it looks like I Must Feed will retreat onto their own turret without Malthael there to provide the pressure. Meanwhile, Lubu cycling on up to get this top camp going. Choosing not to time it out here, but instead they're going to cap it right away, possibly looking for an invade. We'll see what Lubu wants to do with that early camp capture. Clearing out this mid, we do see the rest of I Must Feed is going to rotate around to this top camp. Looks like they're just going to let that top lane push out. I'm interested to see what Lubu's going to do here. They grab that camp away from the objective timing. Will they push onto this right side camp of I Must Feed? Looks like they're thinking about it. They see that the camp is not being taken, and they're going to start sieging down this mid fort, or this mid keep wall, I should say. Level 20s are here for Lubu. They're going to bully themselves onto this heal camp, giving themselves a second healing item. Alan Hicks currently with just one turret. One turret there for Lister Fiend. So now with a 2 heal camp advantage, now they're coming in. The siege camp is the next thing on the minds of Lubu. With that 2-level lead, with that storm talent advantage, there's not a lot that I Must Feed can do here except give up this camp and clear it away. Is Lubu thinking about a win here? Alan Hicks going way in, trying to find Lister Fiend. They've got the camp pushing. Do they just want to end this game right here? They've got 2 heal items. They may have the opportunity to go for it. They've got the double healer. IMF is taking this fight away from the core. The Crushing Jaws catching 2. The Ice Wall is out. Corix and Lister Fiend caught on the wrong side, and there goes Orphea. The Poison Nova from Zool dealing so much damage. Kira's going to go down. Night Knight could be next. The Sanctification from Tyrael saves him for now. Malthael's going to fall. Looks like Night Knight and Corix managed to survive here. But Lubu with the 3 kills, with the healing items, making great use of that item advantage. Getting pushed away by the core a little bit, but they're going to take down this core and take down game number 2. Very well played, a very solid performance there by Lubu. GG. Alrighty. Taking a look at the final stats here. 15 kills to 6 for Lubu. A pretty dominating map there. We saw Bandit on the Li Ming leading the charge on damage, 56,500. Zool doing what he does best, getting that siege damage, getting that off-lane soak, even being able to double soak at times. And it was just ultimately too much kill pressure and too much healing coming out from the double healer comp of Lubu for I Must Feed to deal with. I thought they took a couple of really nice engages, a couple of very good flanks, especially on that top keep push from the control point B protector. They got a lot of value there, found the kills, got the chase, but ultimately it was just a little bit too late, and Lubu takes game number 2. Take a look at the talents real quick. The Transcendence on Kharazim is not something that we see an awful lot. We generally see that Iron Fist picked up for the extra burst damage, but I thought the healing was very, very impactful with the Kharazim Brightwing in keeping everyone alive through those extended engagements into the Bloodlust and the slow damage of Malthael and Kira. Very, very nicely done. If we look at the healing totals, we see that Kharazim actually out-healing Brightwing by the end of it. Very, very cool. Dragonshire, Towers of Doom, Sky Temple, and Hanamura Temple are banned out for this series. Tomb of the Spider Queen was picked by Lubu and won by I Must Feed. Lubu then took us to Volskaya Foundry and won, tying up this series at 1-1. And game number 3, once again brought to you by Lubu, is on Infernal Shrines. Let's get into the draft and see if anything changes. And the first change coming out here is a ban of May. So not wanting to see Alan Hicks on that May once again, I Must Feed's going to ban it away. And again, the Cassia ban coming out from Lubu. Nothing unexpected there. I Must Feed now next to React. We'll see if they want to ban that Kael'thas once again, or if they've got something else in mind here for Infernal Shrines. They may be thinking of taking it themselves. They obviously have placed a high value on that hero. They're going to ban away the Johanna, so the Kael'thas is potentially open. So that's 3 game bans for Johanna, not wanting to see the Crusader on her favorite map. Sad. Part of me says sad, and part of me says, give me new tanks. I want new tanks. I want to see different tanks in my games. And I'm seeing them for sure. Zool is going to be banned away by Lubu. Zool, a power pick for sure. And there it is. Lister Fiend is going to snap up that Kael'thas. If there's ever a map to play Kael'thas, it's this one. Absolutely. If you're a Kael'thas player and you don't love Infernal Shrines, then you ain't paying attention. ETC picked up by Alan Hicks in response. First time we see the big cow in this series. And Suikoden once again will grab the Tassadar. Tassadar, pretty good for the same reasons as Kael'thas. Not quite that same living bomb value, but with those small fight pits, the force wall can get a ton of value. The high damage long range Q can poke out some extra minion kills that you wouldn't otherwise get. As I am now hiccuping. And once again, we've got a Diablo Deckard combo coming out for I Must Feed. Now, one thing that the Diablo Deckard combo lacks, well, Deckard lacks in general, is Deckard doesn't have a cleanse. So that means they're going to be relying on interrupts to save from the ETC mosh pit. Any other stuns that might be coming through from Lubu's side of the draft, they will not have the cleanse available. So they're either going to need it from another source, like maybe a double healer comp? Maybe IMF picks that up? Or they're just going to have to rely on overhealing to get their friends on out of there. Maiev, once again, banned away by Lubu. Rhaegar, banned away by I Must Feed. Getting the Rhaegar off the board when Tassadar is already picked. Gotta do it. Very good idea. Even though that Bloodlust is lower duration now, you don't want to see it. You don't want to see an Archon that's Bloodlusted. It's rough. Bandit, gonna grab the Rainer. Streakwing on the Lucio. An immediate Phoenix and Leoric snapped up by John Goodman and Sudden Bears. Leoric, my favorite on Infernal Shrines, 100%. Phoenix, Valkymer's absolute least favorite anywhere. I think Phoenix is okay. Don't tell Valk. I think Phoenix is alright. I play him sometimes. He's kind of fun. Anyway, Phoenix definitely... We don't want to see Phoenix in our games ever. Alright, Spoticus rounding out this draft with a Sonya. Sonya can do some extra damage to Phoenix, especially when Phoenix is about to warp away. That very quick poke with the Q can really secure some kills. Alright, the drafts are set. We're going to go into game number 3 here on Infernal Shrines. It is once again Lubu versus I Must Feed. We'll see who takes this series. Let's get into it. Alright, loading in here to Infernal Shrines. I'm going to get myself hydrated while I have the chance. Oh no, my water's empty. Or is it? Always come prepared. Alright, loading up here. We've got some standard stuff and some offbeat stuff. We don't... Lucio's not one we've seen in this series so far. Phoenix not one we've seen in this series so far. A lot of other meta picks here. We'll see if those X factors can work it out for our teams, but it looks like we're going into game number 3. Here we go. Once again, on the left in the blue, it's Lubu. We're gonna do our zoom in this time. It's Spoticus is on the Sonya. Streakwing playing the Lucio, Suikoden on the Tassadar, Alan Hicks playing the ETC, and Bandit on the Rainer. It is Lubu. On the right, in the red, is I Must Feed with Leoric stuck in the base. Sudden Bears on the Leoric. Lister Fiend will be playing that Kael'thas. Miles on the Diablo. John Goodman on the Phoenix. And Night Knight playing the Deckard. There they go. They're going into the mid. Here we are. Infernal Shrines is underway. Tassadar went for a W talent. Off meta picks. How dare you choose something that isn't Q on Tassadar? I'm actually interested to see how that performs here. Tassadar is going to be dealing a lot of damage in the pit with a W build, so that could also up that wave clear factor, get those last hits on minions. We could see something interesting coming out from Suikoden. W build is not something I've seen a lot of. Phoenix getting that advanced targeting quest with the Q talent. ETC will be roaming around for globes to get that prog rock going. And Kael'thas, as usual, looking for globes to finish that arcane barrier. Sudden Bears could be in some trouble here as Alan Hicks gets the slide onto Leoric, using that level 1 talent, Ossian Renewal, to heal up and scoot on out of there, head over to the top lane as Phoenix trying to battle the Sonya here. Leoric is here to help out. Seeing that gank attempt, I Must Feed is going to work on this bottom camp, though the going is a little bit slow here. Lubu is focusing on their own siege camp as is normal, but I Must Feed is they're changing things up. They're going to grab the neutral camp first. That could open up a possible invade here from Lubu. Bit of extra damage onto Alan Hicks, but Miles could be in trouble here. Oh, manages to get on out of there before the Tassadar wall locks him in. Phoenix working on this camp. Will we see Lubu invade, or will they have to deal with this bottom camp? Leoric and Sonya. There's endless battle in the top lane. Looks like the initiative from I Must Feed will net them this camp, or will it? Here comes Lubu. Alan Hicks doesn't quite scoot onto the camp on time and is going to get caught by Miles. Once again, ETC flipped into the pit. Deckard Cain will be the first to fall, but in response, ETC is going to go down here. Lister Fiend is a little bit caught out. He's going to have to be careful to not get caught by that scoot from Lucio. A little bit of a trade there, ETC for Deckard. But the extra camp does go over to I Must Feed here. Very nicely done. Shrine, Arcane Shrine in the bottom lane is activating for our first objective of the game. Looks like I Must Feed wants to pick up their Shaman camp to time out with this objective. Very standard here. Sudden Bear is actually taking a lot of damage from Spartacus here. Leoric's going to have to get on out of there. Meanwhile, Lubu is pushing the bottom lane, trying to get this wall softened up. If they can get this top tower here softened up as much as possible, that really helps them in extending out for this bottom objective. Miles taking a ton of damage there in the bottom lane, almost going down to the Q from Raynor. And Lubu will take the initiative on this first shrine. Shaman camp is picked up by I Must Feed. They're a little bit on the back foot here, getting into position. They're looking for a gank here onto Sonya. Here comes Leoric to try to help out. Deckard with the root. Doesn't manage to catch Spartacus using that whirlwind pass through units tag to avoid the root. Now with over 30 minions, it's all but certain that Lubu picks up this first shrine of the game. Leoric pushing with the Shaman camp in the top. Sonya's going to have to deal with that. But meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Lubu will be pushing with the first Arcane Punisher. Miles trying to bait this over the wall. John Goodman actually gets stunned out by the Immortal. That could be trouble. Phoenix is going to go down here. Miles was trying to pick up the aggro from the Punisher, but Phoenix tapped it first, and Phoenix will fall here. Great slide there by Alan Hicks, picking up that kill opportunity. Lister Fiend actually taking a lot of damage from this Punisher, dealing a whole bunch of hero damage. Lister Fiend's going to back on out of there as the fort is taken by Lubu. Experience lead now. Oh gosh, Miles is now in trouble. This Punisher is super punishing, if I do say so myself. Heyo! Sonya and Leoric doing their double soak business between mid and top while this push happened. Lubu getting a ton of value off that first Punisher of the game. Usually it kind of gets the front wall and that's about it. But getting that quick kill onto Phoenix really allowed Lubu to push ahead with really reckless abandon there. Getting all the way to damaging this keep wall. Lubu is going to grab that back siege camp. Once again, the right side siege camp is up for grabs. Alan Hicks trying to get in position here. Sliding through Diablo and trying to get the body block on Miles, but Miles says, I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me, and Alan Hicks is a little bit stuck in the back here. Sudden Bears is on the chase trying to get Bandit. Oh, and the swipe manages to kill the Raynor. Nice job there by Sudden Bears to grab that kill. Once again, rooted is Alan Hicks and will go down to Leoric. John Goodman taking a lot of damage trying to chase down this Tassadar. We'll have to be careful here as the shields are gone. But with those extra kills, they've evened up this experience, and they're both teams are going to land on their heroics about the same time here. Sonya trying to keep this bottom lane pushed out. I Must Feed is going to grab their back camp. Level 10s have arrived for Lubu, and 10s are about to be here for I Must Feed. Looks like nothing super out of the ordinary. We've got the Mosh Pit. Black Hole is online for the Tassadar, which is generally what you pick if you're going for that W build. The Leap from Sonya is an interesting one. Trying to jump onto the back and get those stuns, possibly to line up those black holes. And then Hyperion and the Sound Barrier from Lucio for Lubu. On the right side, we see the Planet Cracker coming out from Phoenix, as well as the Apocalypse. Stay a while and listen combo we've come to know and love. Sudden Bear's in a lot of trouble here. Manages to land the sort of Panic and Tomb. Alan Hicks is trapping Diablo with that Mosh Pit. The Sound Barrier is there to try to help out ETC. There's the... Oh, the Stay a while and listen gets interrupted at the last second and goes on that 10-second cooldown. Very nicely done there by ETC to interrupt out of that. You did see the Entomb there from Leoric as Leoric rejoins the battle. It is a Phoenix ultimate from Kael'thas, so no Pyroblast today. Going for that zoning potential on these pits. Miles sees the rotation there from Lubu. Thinking about an engage, but the rest of the team is not ready. But possible counter-engage. Miles is going to have to be careful here. We have a possible invade here. Suikoden is discovered. The slide from Alan Hicks catches Leoric. There is the meme beam, as it is called in the chat, but Leoric is going to go down regardless. Spoticus leaps into the back, trying to get on top of Kael'thas. There is the Apocalypse. Stay a while, but only catches one. Streakwing in a little bit of trouble. The counter kill onto Deckard and Kael'thas, and the chase continues. Spoticus will be going down next. That's 3 kills. Will they find Miles here? No, Miles manages to sneak out through that keep gate. And Lubu once again controlling very well in these team fights. Sonya did go down in response, trying to chase and did manage to get that Kael'thas kill. Shrine is active in the top lane. It is a Frozen Punisher. We'll be pushing down the probably the healthiest lane here for I Must Feed. Level 13s have arrived for Lubu. Still a few more minion waves needed for I Must Feed before they can get that. They're going to clear out this Shaman camp. Look to pick up the experience globes in the mid, though they may have to be careful about engaging here. They're going to be down a talent here, but they don't really have time. They're going to move onto this shrine and try to get this fight going regardless. With these cannon, or this top cannon still intact for Lubu, trying to engage onto the left side of this shrine is very risky stuff for I Must Feed. New York doing their best to clear out the shrine, but there's the huge Entomb. Everyone is really stuck. The Black Hole is out, catching people inside that mosh pit. Phoenix is going down first. Checkered will be next. Lister Fiend is going to try to scoot on out of there as Leoric falls in the middle of the rest of Lubu. Hyperion is going to clean up this wall, and another 3 kills for Lubu. They're going to get this Punisher and push down this top fort. ETC, not exactly known for the wave clear here, but here comes the rest of Lubu to help clear up this shrine. I Must Feed will be back on the field for this defense, but now at a nearly 2-level deficit. Could be in some trouble here. Sonya playing boldly here, going on to the siege camp of I Must Feed, while Leoric is just trying to clear up these lanes. Good steal there. Sonya's going to get the bottom lane pushing in blue team's favor. Top fort is taken out, and this Punisher still very, very healthy. We'll be pushing towards this keep wall. Leoric doing his best to soak for I Must Feed, get them the levels they so desperately need. But here comes that Frozen Punisher. Diablo kind of got pushed around there in a strange way. I'm not quite sure what happened there. Punisher landed the stun, and Miles just kind of squirted on out of there like toothpaste. Here comes the Punisher. It's going to be onto the fort here. Another stun onto Diablo. Definitely the one the stun needs to be on. There is the Planet Cracker as well as the Apocalypse. Sudden Bears is in a little bit of trouble in the back, but Alan Hicks could be in trouble in the front as it is a trade. ETC for Leoric. But no, Diablo gets stunned again by the by the Punisher. Night Knight will be next, so Diablo and Decker going down here, and it looks like this top keep will be falling. John Goodman on very low health and no shields is going to have to be careful about how they poke in. Lister Fiend taking a lot of damage from that Tassadar. Sudden Bear's back in the field, and they will save that top keep. I didn't expect that. I was expecting that top keep to go down to the big poke from Raider and Tassadar, but just too much threatening damage coming out from I Must Feed means that keep will have to wait. Spoticus starting on this back camp while the rest of Lubu picks up this Shaman camp. Shaman about 30 seconds out for I Must Feed, so the invade won't be happening just yet, but the opportunity will be there. I don't think I Must Feed is going to be able to get 16 before this camp comes up. The Leoric is going to do their best to clear out these lanes and make up this XP disadvantage. If we take a look at almost an extra 4,000 XP on those hero kills for Lubu, as well as about 1,000 extra experience from those minions and another 2,000 from the mercenaries. Definitely doing a great job of controlling the map. Meanwhile, Tassadar and Raynor duking it out for first place in damage for Lubu as they do go for this camp invade. Not a whole lot that I Must Feed can do about it except sit back and clear and wait for level 16. Kael'thas and Phoenix stealing the lion's share of damage for I Must Feed, though definitely falling behind those big damage dealers of Lubu. Once again, we've got actually a double Shaman push onto this keep. It looks like it won't even matter. They're going to get this keep anyway with just the Tassadar and the Raynor damage, but here comes I Must Feed, catching 3 in the Stale Island. Listen, there's the APOC, there's the Planet Cracker, and that's the combo they were looking for. Bandit in a lot of trouble here, but the Sound Barrier is on time. The Mosh Pit catching 4 in the back. And Decker Kane is going to go down. There goes Kael'thas. John Goodman could be in trouble here. Leoric goes down in the back as well. And with these Shaman camps still up, this could be a win here for Lubu. There goes Diablo. John Goodman trying to back away under 100 health. And there it is, the full team wipe for Lubu. They've got the Shamans, they've got the Catapults, and now they've got the core. A 2-1 victory in this series for Lubu. Very well played. And there it is. GG. Very nicely done. Here we are, the post-game for game number 3. A dominating performance from Lubu there. 17 kills to 5. Getting a lot of work done in that ETC. Those Lucio sound barriers were on point. Let them know about the interview. Sorry about that. We saw 3 counter kills onto ETC. I Must Feed definitely had some good traps there and did execute that big combo towards the end, but nearly 3 levels down. It was very difficult for them to come on back, and it was Lubu who persevered. Quick look at the talents there. We did see the W build coming out from Tassadar, taking advantage of those black holes. Not managing to get that level 20 where the W build really starts popping off, but hey, a win's a win, right? Alrighty. Let's find ourselves an interview.
How about you crushing, Ada?
Hey, Alan Hicks, thank you for joining me. Congratulations on your win.
Thank you.
Saw a pretty dominating performance today, coming out with the 2-1 victory. So I haven't had the pleasure of casting you guys before. Were you in the NGS this last season, or were you over in Heroes Lounge? Where have you been?
We've been in NGS for the last 4, maybe 5 seasons. I think we started in season 5, and this was season 9, so that would be 5 seasons. We played 1 season at Heroes Lounge, but we really didn't like it that much. It was difficult to get casted. They didn't split the division into like an East Coast, West Coast thing. And so it was very difficult for us to schedule because we have we have some guys on our team who start early in the morning, and then some who start later, and so we had it was more difficult for us to schedule with like a West Coast team. So
Okay.
we haven't returned to Heroes Lounge.
Well, I'm surprised I didn't manage to find you in the last season there, but I'm glad I get to cast you now. All right. If I take a look at the games here, game number 1, we saw Tomb of the Spider Queen. A pretty good performance there. The wave clear on both sides was really tremendous. But what did you feel like the X factor that put you over the edge there on Tomb of the Spider Queen was?
The blaze changes recently with the adrenaline stem pack at level 1, incinerator gauntlets at level 4. Gives him so much wave clear that he can outpush Azul, apparently.
I noticed that pick on level 1. I was surprised to see that one over the Neural, but then thinking about that wave clear and seeing Blaze do so much work in that offlane with those objectives was really something to see.
And if you look at the boss take, he really burned through that boss with those 2 talents as well. I think that was a really good thing. The X factor for them was me and nobody on my team knowing that Avalanche was banned, but
yeah, a bit of an unfortunate outcome there, but live and learn, right?
Yeah. Things happen. We don't take the Zul'jin Distillery Invitational too seriously. We look at it more as an opportunity to practice against other teams that we would face, next season in NGS possibly. Try out a few new things, and it's just easier in some respects to get all 5 people together when you can say, okay, we've got a match at this day, this time. Everybody be here,
Yeah, for
as
sure.
opposed to people coming, when they get ready to, but all 3 games went really well for us. We picked Tomb of the Spider Queen and Volskaya Foundry because those are 2 maps that we didn't play basically at all last season in NGS. Tomb has not been a good map for us historically, and I just constantly ban Volskaya because I hate those conveyor belts.
They are definitely a pain to deal with, especially when you get to point C there.
Yeah.
So speaking of trying out new stuff, talk to me a little bit about May. Newest tank here in the Nexus. We saw you use her to great effect there with those blizzards in game 1 and 2. Do you feel like she's right up there with the top tier tanks?
Yeah, I do, and I feel like I haven't really unlocked her potential. I haven't played that many games with her, and I haven't, fully worked out the whole stun combo with blizzard and then icing to boot the guys back into your blizzard so they stay put and get the stun infect. I miss that more often than I would like. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but I kind of feel like I got more learning to do on May.
I was trying her out today, and getting the angles right on that is definitely difficult, especially when they've got some extra jukes. You sometimes end up knocking them out of your blizzard more often than you knock them into it.
Yeah, and I really liked the interaction with her second ult, the ice wall. I forget the name of it, but everybody knows ice wall. How it puts them into stasis. That turned out to work really well against sanctification because you can stasis them while they're insane. And
it is a very cool interaction there. It's always been kind of weird that stopped is greater than unstoppable when it comes to stasis and labeling in Heroes of the Storm, but it is definitely something to remember when you see those unstoppables and invulnerables coming out from the enemy side.
Yeah, it's even better than that though, because sanctification is a ground effect, which means that time stops like Void Prison, the ice wall, they don't affect the sanct itself. So while they're in, the time stop effect, sanctification's still running. It's not like you pause it and then when the time stop ends, it continues. By the time that time stop ends, it's over.
Definitely,
so
yeah.
I felt like that was really strong. She's definitely got a lot of utility in her kit. She just doesn't do any damage. I wish she did some damage. If she did, she would be super duper OP though.
I think so for sure. They'd have to take away some survivability or something, but I think May is a welcome addition to the game for sure.
Absolutely, we really needed something to shake up the tank meta, and I feel like this latest patch has maybe done that with the cooldown reductions on Diablo's abilities, some other changes with Garrosh and some things. So we might see some more meta tanks now, and it won't just be a Joe ETC fest all the time.
Definitely looking forward to that. It was casting Johanna ETC for as often as I did. I'm definitely ready for something new.
Yeah, I mean, it was just going to be that way in the last season. If those two heroes weren't banned, they were taken.
Yep, absolutely. So with the 2-1 victory here tonight, that gets some points on the board. Looking at the rest of round number 1 here in the XGD, are there any other teams on the docket that you're looking forward to playing here?
Honestly, I haven't really looked at the docket too much. I think we have Probius this season, and that'll be a fun matchup. I think they beat us 2-1 in last season's NGS. And, we're friends with some of those guys. And, it's always fun when you get to play teams that you're friendly with.
Absolutely, those friendly rivalries are definitely something to look forward to, and something to try to form when you're in these leagues, especially for as long as your team's been in them.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, the game started late because they were looking for a substitution, and I reached out to 8-Bit, who's the captain for Probius, because I noticed they were all online. I said, can one of you guys sub for our opposing team tonight? And he found Ducky, who subbed for him in game 1. So we didn't have to wait forever for Corix to finish up his quick match. So that was
for
nice.
Sure. Definitely good to get those games in.
Yeah.
All right, well, as we wrap things up here, are there any shout-outs you'd like to make?
To my entire team. I think everybody kind of stepped out and did some unusual stuff tonight. Spotty hasn't played Sonya much, doesn't particularly like that hero all that much, but I thought he did very well on her. The double support is something that we haven't really run before, and I feel like it worked really well. We were just trying out new stuff. I mean, even me, trying out May, I haven't played her all that much because, she came in, a month and a half ago maybe, but she was banned for the entire NGS season. And so at that time we were focused on NGS, and we just didn't practice May because, you couldn't play her.
Yeah. All right. Well, once again, thank you for joining me, and congratulations on your win.
All right. Thank you so much. You have a wonderful day.
Good luck going forward. Have a good one.
Thank you. Bye-bye.